All right, it's 6 o'clock, so we'll get started. Is the regular meeting for the Old Lyme Inland Wetlands and Watercourses Commission's Tuesday, August 26th at Town Hall, and it's 6 o'clock. So for new business, start with application 25-25, 71 Button Ball Road, the Open Space Commission.
They said they could not be here this evening, but please set a site walk for them, which we've now done.
So we'll go to 25-26, 7 Thomas Waite Drive. Okay.
Hey.
I'm Jason Nemergut. I'm a professional engineer with Nemergut Consulting, Killingworth. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Ben Roach, and the owner, Lisa Flagg. They're proposing to build a 3-bedroom house with a 3-bedroom accessory apartment. The property's on Thomas Waite Drive. It's part of the 10-lot subdivision that was approved in 1988. The lot is 4.2 acres with roughly 2.2 acres of wetlands on it. So, this is the subdivision map from 1988. So there's an extensive bunch of wetland property or wetlands up here. Here's the 100-foot review zone. We included the 50-foot because that was on the original subdivision map, and I'm not sure when you guys went from 50 to 100. So we showed that on our map. We kept all the proposed construction outside of the 50-foot, and a majority of the building is outside of the 100-foot, with the exception of this small portion of the building, part of the patio, and the ground roof feeder discharge infiltrators. And then the septic's up here, which is outside of the 100-foot review zone.
Anybody have any questions? For the site walk, if you just maybe flag the 100-foot review or flag that, have the wetlands flags visible and where the building's going to go. Should be about it. We'll see you 5:15 on the September 11th. Thank you.
Thank you.
25-27, 8 Whipple Road, James Caramante.
Good evening, everyone. I do have site maps for anyone who would like them. I can pass them out.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I have a 10, so
Very good, very good. Yeah. Thank you.
thank you. I want to start off by apologizing to the committee. So Eric gave me sent me a letter a couple weeks ago about some tree work and work I was doing around the property. I was unaware that I couldn't, pretty much after reading the town statutes or policies or how limited and what you could or couldn't do inside the 100-foot mark. I know it was mentioned last month, but I had trees taken down. I have a shed on the property. I had my deck removed, and then I did have some retaining walls and fence put up. So I want to apologize for doing that without coming to you beforehand. And just want to talk to you about how to get back in good standings with you and make this correct and what needs to be done and what information you need from me. And
Tonight, we're mostly just proceeding and setting up a site walk. And your
Okay.
site walk will be 5 o'clock on September 11th, if that's okay with you.
make it work for you.
Okay. And then, Nicola, thank you.
So this is an application after the fact. Are the 14 trees already gone, or is that how many you
I
want?
took No, there wasn't 14, there was, 7 trees taken down.
This, you flagged, just.
Yeah, so it would be seven total, I mean, 7 more
No,
for a total. of
7 total.
14 more.
No, 7 total were taken down.
Okay.
And so after I got the letter from Eric, we stopped all work. With the exception of a couple things that were safety related, I had to just make the property safe again. Stopped all work there. I put silt fencing up, and I'm just waiting for what you guys would like to be done next before I do anything else. So
See you on see you at the site walk, but I don't think anybody have any other questions or not really? Okay. We'll just see you at the site walk.
perfect. Thank you.
See what it looks like.
All right, moving on to old business, we have 25-22, 16 Town Woods Road. Rodney and Deborah Hornbeck for the construction of a 24-by-24 detached accessory building.
Second around here. For the record, Caroline O'Hagan, project engineer at Indigo. I know that we've talked about this project. This is now probably the 3rd time, right? We decided not to do a site walk last month, as all of this was previously approved. Now we're coming back. Again, just to kind of give you a refresher. So all of the yellow items were previous structures and the main house that was recently demolished for construction of the 4-bedroom new building. So in construction, the contractor and the owners were all concerned about groundwater levels. And as there was a full basement with the bedroom and the base in the house, in the main house, we decided to take away the shed that was previously approved and instead put up a 24-by-24 accessory building with a bedroom upstairs, no kitchen, no shower. So it's not an accessory apartment, just a studio of sorts for the owner to utilize that space that they're now losing from the basement in the house. We have wetlands running through the property with Millbrook, wetlands on either side, and then we fall within the 100-foot upland review area. So that's what we're coming to you guys for. Any questions?
Just for the record, I have been going out on a pretty much monthly basis to confirm that the silt fencing is being maintained in good condition there. So the site is in good shape at the moment.
I make a motion to approve the application as revised or submitted. I don't know however you want to word that.
The application is revised. Yeah.
Okay. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Take care.
That's 25-23, 40 Flat Rock Hill Road, Michael and Elizabeth Lemare.
Hi, this is application for a driveway. The beginning of the driveway is located within the 100-foot buffer zone, goes in probably about 100 and something feet to where it all falls outside of the buffer zone. Behind here shows a larger map. The remainder of the house will be up over onto the high part of the property, and the driveway will stay clear of that. Any outbuildings or anything as we move forward with it. So it's a very minor impact. Up here, we're going to use some of the larger stone to clear any tires and stuff for any vehicles that come in and out for the time being.
What are you gonna use the gravel driveway for?
It will be the full driveway to build the house, but in order to get equipment back here,
Okay,
we want to improve the road so that it's
ready to go.
ready to go for the.
And then you'll be back in for the house.
Correct. It'll be the same roadway for the house. But we want this area here is, as you may have saw on the sidewalk, is a little bit of a dip, and we want to make sure that it's appropriate for vehicles coming in and out when they're accessing it. And then when we, prior to building it, we are going to have to do some clearing of the land. So there will be some need for larger trucks coming in, and we want to make sure no one gets stuck in there.
Before you do any extensive
Oh, yeah.
clearing,
Absolutely.
obviously, we're concerned about that 100-foot review for you.
Yeah, everything will be outside of the 100-foot zone. Outside of just this, there'll be no significant clearing in here. The roadway, as you saw, it looks like it was a previous existing path that someone had used. Or we're just gonna go right this.
And you're installing a silt fence, as I recall. Huh?
Yes,
Just have me come out and inspect the silt fence once it's in, so I can make sure it's installed correctly, in good shape, okay?
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the application as submitted.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
thank you.
25-11, 9 Tanamaheg, Carrie Meltzer, application for pod maintenance and restoration.
Do you have the copies from Fallon?
Yes.
With the specs from.
Trying to catch you on the tape here, so you can get close to it. Thank you.
So you have a copy from Rich Snarsky from last November that talks about the work that would be done. And we're only going to do the most modest portion, so just a portion of it, not the full pond, just the eastern section. And all the spoils will go on the eastern bank, exactly as he specifies. It will be exactly this. We have one person who gave us a proposal. We will do the more modest section of the three proposals, but to the specs of Rich Snarsky. We cannot do the whole thing, but we will be able to make it better. And that's what we would like to do. And you have the map from the before as well.
I remember my questions that I had. I think one of them at least has been answered, how deep you're gonna go.
Yeah.
But you haven't really told us the amount of material that you expect to take out.
Well, Rich Snarsky was saying that in the original proposal, about 230 cubic feet. I don't know if that is equivalent.
230 cubic yards or feet.
Cubic yards, sorry, yeah.
That's probably somewhat more
Then we're gonna
than
end
we'll
up
be
doing
taking out
yeah.
because that was for a full pond.
a fuller, yeah. And it's only just grown up more and more, so.
And the other question I had was, and I see that Rich said that you're gonna put an erosion control where you're proposing to put the dredge spoil. But what are you gonna do about downstream siltation if that happens during dredging?
Well,
And the stream is actually, it probably is dry now.
Quite dry, yeah.
Um,
It's extremely dry.
I believe in the proposal from the dredger, he talked about mitigation, putting in hay bales or a fence there.
Yeah, I didn't see that when I reviewed.
Yeah, 9-inch hay wattle around the outside of the silt fence. That's, I think, support for the silt fence.
Yeah, but that's not gonna be in the stream. Hay bales aren't gonna stay in
Yeah,
the stream.
think-
With the silt fence,
Is to contain the fill that you dig out of the pond, so it
Exactly,
doesn't go in
I
the.
think,
Probably
when we
wetland.
talked to Rich Snarsky about that, I don't think that, I mean, right now, there's just zero happening. It is, you know,
Yeah,
close
but
to
we're in-
close to being a meadow, so,
We're in the center of, or in the middle of hurricane season.
Just
though.
want
Right.
to get a condition that it's done during periods of low flow.
Yeah.
yeah, and I think last time you were suggesting August or September, Rich was suggesting November, December, absolutely, those would be the times. So.
Yeah, it is
We will not be doing, to your question, we won't be doing, you know, we had hoped in the beginning to be able to do the pond as it was, we received it 2 years ago, but we cannot do that, it is too much. But we will do a portion of it, so the impact downstream will be,
lesser.
I mean, quite lesser, yeah.
Well, not if it rains if you don't do anything, so
Yeah, well,
we
we
should
hope
come
we
up
do
with
something, yeah.
something that addresses that, just in case we get a lot of rain when they're
Yeah.
digging.
Yeah, there's,
We just don't want neighbors complaining that sediment's going into their downstream ponds,
Right,
wondering what we didn't do.
right. Well, I think we would, I don't myself know the answer to that, but I think we would ask Rich.
So as a
Snarsky.
condition of our permit, I think, Eric,
Yeah.
we can, you know, just, there are lots of things that they could do. They could decide what when they
And again-
want. They could ask, I'm sure Rick could come up
Get
with
further
something.
recommendations from Mr. Starsky. Also, I will happily go out to the site and just verify that it's under low flow conditions and make sure that there's no excessive silt going down the stream.
I'm just concerned about like, if like last week we get 2 inches of rain.
Yeah.
Or 4 inches of rain and.
We won't do it that week, but yeah,
I-
like,
It's so far under at this point.
yeah.
It's about, it used to be going over these rocks by the bridge.
Mhm.
It's the water level's about that far below it at this
It's
point.
down
The
to
pond is
3
down
feet.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
It's
just flat.
maybe a foot deep in that
If
section near
even,
the.
yeah, if even.
So,
So,
I mean, I think the applicants come back several times.
Yep.
I mean, they've answered all our questions. I would hope that we could come up with one additional condition to
Exactly.
concerning any outflow or, sediment outflow, or whether it's be wattles or something. I mean, I'd hate to try to make them come back again.
I mean, for what it's worth, the outflow is just a teeny culvert under the road, as you know, and it goes into two directions gradually.
but we're certainly, we don't consider it a burden to make sure that we're not
Yeah, no.
silting up
No,
everything
we adore our
downstream.
neighbors. We would only
Yeah.
do the, we would
So
only
is
do the
there,
right
is there
thing.
something, Mike, that you would like to see as an additional
Well,
condition?
if Snarski makes a recommendation for them,
Okay,
I'd go with that.
Yeah.
I'd let them.
good.
I don't remember the size of the culvert or the dimensions. I was
Smaller
there
than I think
quite a
you
while ago.
indicated.
In the rain, I recall.
Yeah,
So I'm hearing basically two conditions, one of which is to do it during low flow conditions, and two, to implement any further recommendations by Mr.
Right, and the erosion controls, because there's a very healthy wetland on the edge of where the fill had been deposited by prior dredging. That's important that existing wetland to the east be protected by, but
I will make sure that the silt fence is installed properly. If I
Yeah.
need any additional silt fence, I will make sure to
Yeah.
recommend further.
and they're quite clear about that. It won't go anywhere near there. And that starts to about our other neighbors that wouldn't do that either.
I'd make a motion to approve the application with the condition that it meets Rich Snarski's recommendations and that silt and erosion control measures are coordinated with Eric, and to confirm that it's low flow conditions. So if you can make sure you guys give Eric some notice to.
And what is your definition of low flow? Would that be November, December, or would you?
Yes, when there's no outflow, like where there's no water running out of the pond, basically.
Okay.
We get a
Great.
second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you
Thank you.
very much. We're very, very pleased.
Thank you.
Great. We thought-
And that's the next one. And that's the next one.
All right, so the next one is 308-1 Mile Creek Road, the status violation update.
On that one, I'm gonna hand it out. That's the first page. Hopefully, there's also familiar. This is what I've gone out there and observed back in 2013. So here's some copies here. Just in the last day or so, we have a proposal from the property owner as to how he wants to address this. Most significantly, you'll see in there that Mr. Thoreau is still recommending at least one very large rock be put where the culvert is or next to the culvert to prevent current erosion. At this point, you are more or less where you expect it to be as far as the work having been done. The only work that was outstanding at the time of my site walk was additional erosion controls to be put up sort of at where the wetlands crosses over the road to enter into the northerlymost pond. If you recall, there was need for erosion control there because water does cross the road there. I can confirm that those erosion control measures have now been put in place. So I think at this point, all of the required improvements or work per your cease and desist order has now been put in place. We never did collect a bond. I don't know whether you think any bond is still required at this point in time. So, again, we have the proposed conditions as Mr. Thoreau would request, or we can just leave things as they are essentially. And I don't know if you want to hear further from the property owner on this or.
I just have some, I have some concerns about the boulder going back in because I would tend to think, some good sized rock riprap would be better to stabilize what I saw in the photograph. I mean, I think that road's gonna wash out because the culverts are too small. And whatever riprap we put in is probably gonna go when the road washes out during a major storm. But the boulder really, unless you tie it into something, is gonna create eddies and not necessarily stabilize the bank that I saw when we were on the site visit. But we have an engineer, right? Don't we, looking at this, they could propose something to stabilize that so it doesn't continue to erode,
So to address your question.
like a non-boulder, unless the boulders are a heck
To
of a-
address your question, what we're talking about is we're talking about this, just this one spot.
Yep.
Which never had a boulder. That's the original condition of the property. So this never had a rock there to begin with. This is where the rock started and then they continued north. So this never had anything. And then this is what resulted from not having anything there.
No,
So to answer your question about the
I
riprap,
disagree with that.
well, that's the existing condition that's never been touched. So to answer your question here, with the riprap consideration, if the grade at the base of the stone would hold the riprap, that'd be a great idea. Problem is, there's no base there. It's a pond, it just drops off. That was the whole purpose of the rocks to begin with. There's nothing to stabilize the banks. If you saw the size of the rocks, those rocks were 3 and 4 yard boulders that came out of there. They're ginormous. But once you get to the toe of the slope falls off. You went down there with a stick and there's no slope. So you could pile all the rocks you want. As soon as the water comes up, it's going to pull down. You need the vegetation to dig into the bank, to hold the bank back. The only spot you're not going to hold the bank back is here at the throat where the pipe is. It's a 1-to-1 slope. There is a bottom in here though. So to hold the rock, as soon as you come up to here where these rocks were all removed, drop straight on. There's nothing to hold it. So Joe's proposal, we went over to another piece of the property and to take that slope from the water back, which is going to be underwater at some point, break that slope down and put the same vegetation that's around that pond back on that slope and try to heal it in and get that vegetation that's there, which will make a nice screen at the end of the day. If it'll stay there, get it to grow right back on there. But it's only a short, if you look in those photos, it's only about 15 feet. It's not very long because I was able to keep the vegetation there. From there, moving north farther, that 15 feet, I was able to maintain that vegetation that's there. It's still a 1-to-1 slope, but the roots are there. And hopefully it'll heal itself in. We'll see when the weather's going to tell you what's happening. I mean, the reason what happened here was a water breached that road. And any heavy storm or any pond, anywhere, well, we removed the rocks. So we just got to come up with something from here. So it's either leave it or plant it.
So Eric, is there any outstanding?
There's nothing at the moment outstanding other than, again, we never got the bond in. He has done the work that was required for the cease and desist order to my satisfaction. I mean, the berm has gone all the way up. It's been planted by grass. Last I checked, the grass is growing in very nicely. He is maintaining hay bales where he had silt fencing at the north end there where the water was coming across into the first siltation pond. I think the hay bales, if they're properly maintained, are probably a better long-term solution than the silt fencing which kept failing. The 304 has grown back in. You guys did observe the gravel that he did put in to your satisfaction, starting at the entrance and going down to the culvert. He did remove everything, the dirt, the rocks, to a location that was outside of the 100-foot upland review area. I did observe where that was. It is at this point safe and secure, and there's no risk to any wetlands. So at this point, the only remaining issue is do we sort of call it a day where it is now, or he is again requesting the one boulder go back in, or some alternate take on what to do there? I have nothing further I can ask him to do. To my take, the cease and desist order has been complied with. However, again, there's this ongoing condition, and it's up to you guys how you want to handle it.
Okay, in my mind, if he's done everything, satisfied all the conditions that we put on him, then we should move towards lifting the cease and desist. And if there's any other conditions that are of concern that Mr. Swaney as an applicant would want to address, or you as an enforcement officer would want to address, to me, that is a new application. I don't think we should be trying to relitigate or reconsider something that we've already put conditions on and the conditions have been satisfied.
I agree. I think this would more appropriately be tied into, like, if you wanted to add it to the application that you're doing for the, like, where you were gonna do the work on the pipes. I don't think that hooking this to the cease and desist makes any sense, because it's not part of it.
He's right. He's already done what we've asked him to do.
Okay, so the last question, maybe this is better handled with Ed Casella here. We have litigation pending for the violation. We can leave it pending because there was a violation if you want to try and collect penalties for the previous violation, or we can try and settle it where we are today. Again, if you want to get Casella here to talk to you about that directly, 1 month is not going to really make a difference. It's just sort of sitting there on the docket at the moment. But I just want to point out that there is pending litigation regarding the prior violation on this site.
That would have to be discussed in executive session, right?
You can discuss it in open. I mean, executive session is always a possibility for pending litigation, but you don't have to use executive session. You can discuss it in open session if you want to. So if you'd like me to schedule an executive session for next month, I'm happy to do that. I just want you to keep in mind that the lawsuit still is sitting out there. Okay.
Yeah, I think as I understand that the cease and correct, we're resolving that, or have resolved that with a permit with conditions, which he's now met. And so it's, the permits, we never got the bond, so we don't have to release the bond. That's going to bring that to an end. And at the next meeting, we can consider, with our attorney, obviously dropping the litigation.
Okay. I will schedule Ed Casella to be at the next meeting. Okay.
We need a motion to lift the cease and desist.
Yes, I would require that let's try to see. I would request that you make a motion to lift the cease and desist, so I will take care of that tomorrow. Okay.
I'll make a motion to lift the cease and desist, seeing that all the conditions have been met.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Good.
Thank you.
Did you want to add this into the application for the pipe thing, or? Okay. Okay, that's fine. All right.
Well, the pipe's next, so.
It's not on, oh yeah, I'm sorry. Just
Number 5.
yeah. Thank you. So 25-24, again, 308-1 Mile Creek Road application for a spillway pipe replacement.
You guys should have received tonight a email from Mr. Sweeney. It was received at 4:28 this afternoon. I have nothing sort of further to offer on it. Again, I just got it about an hour ago myself. So look through it. If you have questions of the applicant, if you think this needs to be further reviewed by our engineer, I'm happy to have that done. But again, this is a modification of the earlier application submitted by the applicant.
But this seems to, though, the stuff that you gave out to us tonight seems to talk about what we just talked about. Number 1 was the pipe outlet, placing a boulder next to the pipe.
That's, again, we're on the opposite side of the road now, right? This is for the place that the beavers blew out and you guys did the site walk on.
Okay, so maybe that's, okay, so this is not the thing you handed out tonight.
Okay, so
So it's an alternate to the head wall Based on the comments that came back from the engineer, I felt like I wasn't willing to, you got that?
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, I wasn't willing to go that, sorry. I wasn't willing to go that length to repair that aisleway, if you will, or I mean, lack of better words, you know, I mean, we like to keep the water in the pond, but what was being requested from the engineer was way more money than I wanted to spend in there. I figured I was throwing 12,000 at it already, so I did. This came from a conversation with another engineer who we all know, and you know, again, he just said this was a great fit for this, and I thought, well, I'll propose it and see what you all think. Versus, I think the other one's off the table. There was just too many hurdles to even work with that. You know, if you guys have, you've seen it at this point, you know what it is, you know what it's doing. And I just feel like, you know, this might be a good alternative, very little impact, which would, you know, definitely help the downstream at this point. I think it needs, you know, existing stone that's on the property would be utilized. All the slopes on that bank could be addressed down that whole aisleway. And just a check dam or two in there so that one holds the pond back and then the second one would be an alternate. But meanwhile, between them all, we just, you know, we lay in the stones in there so that that water as it comes down through there. And I've been there a long time and I've never seen a rushing water in there. There's nowhere, it's a pond and there's no water comes into that pond. So it rains, goes in there and it goes out. The whole idea of what the proposal to begin with is just to raise the water. You went down and you saw where basically the dirt line was on the stones and the pond was, I mean, it was empty, you know, so the whole idea is just get the water back up and, you know, let the turtles and the snakes and the birds live in there. That's really about all that does.
The only question I would have is I'd like to, are we talking one check dam, two check dams? I'd like to see it on a plan. And with this description, you know, just a little more, because you gave us a plan as to where the culvert and stuff was gonna go, and then we could see how it fits in. And then once that plan is in, just since we have an engineer, let him look at it too, and if he says fine.
I'd like to basically start, just so for conversation, like to start where the beaver dam is. If you left the beaver dam in now, he's got it dry. It's dry right now. We cut the slopes back. There's no discharge water. It's bone dry right now. Cut the slopes back 2-to-1, lay the stone in there and build 2 check dams.
I think we've learned our lesson about not having a good map. And activities happening, because then we don't know what we've approved. So that's why I think an accurate sketch of what you're proposing. And that you've started it. I mean, it came in, I think, with the original application and
Approval with conditions.
I want our engineer to kind of just agree.
Yeah, I think in theory, it sounds like the members are interested. But I think we need an actual plan as opposed to this is what it looks like somewhere else. So
Do you guys want like an engineer plan, or are you thinking like a Google Earth picture showing like where they would go with like a width? It's just
And you know, some heights and dimensions and, you know, what the spillway height is.
right.
I mean, you have to have some detail. I mean,
yeah, I just wanted to.
it could be drawn accurately by someone other than an engineer.
Yeah.
But I would still like our engineer to.
The spillway height jumps out at me what that would be. So yeah, I think we need dimensions and
We'd like to maintain what was there.
Yep.
So the pipe's still there. So we'd want to maintain that height. If you go any higher, you're going to back the water up onto the road. So the last thing we want to do is get it, you know, over the road. So maintaining that pipe elevation was a nice level. So, you know, and then just a flat surface for the spillway to take it evenly over that spillway, and then just You know, it's better than that trench has ever had. That trench has never had anything. It's just been washing in there, washing out.
And the beaver.
Like to remove the pipes that are there as well. Yeah, that should all come out of there.
But that should be in a description of the activities that you want to do along with the plan. I think, you're feeling that it sounds approvable. If
Probably like
it's
a
properly designed.
Probably like a typical cross section, like.
Yeah.
Say like what the base elevation, yeah,
I mean, that's,
it could, but that's just it doesn't actually say which one you're doing, that's showing like a typical one, so. Like which one of these would you be picking, that kind of stuff, like, what would be what they'd be looking
At
for,
the site with the site dimensions.
like what size stone you're anticipating using, like
I see.
width of the height
Yeah.
and that kind of.
Yeah.
Or the width of the crest and that kind of stuff, I would think, and how many check dams.
okay.
Okay, so it sounds like we're tabling the application till next month.
I'll make a motion to table, 25-24.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
So that's a regular motion, that's a motion to table it.
Yeah.
Okay, so all those in favor of tabling it?
Aye.
All right, 16 Neck Road and 2 Sharon Drive, status violation update.
You guys should have received through email my memo that I drafted back July 24th. I have received nothing further from the property owner, so I guess he's here tonight to explain where he is. So I'll just beyond that, if you want.
So after, Mr. Snarky's, review, I told my printer to blow this up and put in a 4-foot page instead of the area. This is where the pipe comes across from the. So this is the area that Mr. Snarky developed and marked it off with blue ribbons. So I fall around and I got a quote to clean that area up. It looks like it's 5,500 square feet. Total, 3,000 square feet of 6-inch balance of 4-inch deep. And I can start this figure. They figured 20 days worth of work, 4 men. And I got a number of 24,000. So your engineer was fairly close with 32 that he came up with. And as you saw while you were there last time, everything is got a ton of hay bales. There's no more siltation happening whatsoever. We have grass growing everywhere. The landscape company come and maintain cutting it. I can start this, start Monday. I'd like to start it now while it's dry.
That's certainly something you guys can talk about. Consider, again, I have a list on here, 4 pages long, of items that should or will need to be addressed. I don't know if Mr. Nocito is prepared to address my memo from July 24th. But again, this is something that I guess puts us on a better path forward, and we can address the other matters that need to be considered.
I've addressed some of those items, like the catch basins, put the silt sacks back in, cleaned them up. I have hay bales there as well. We plan to start that work and have it all inspected by the engineer as we're doing them. The beginning of the month.
Just so we can kind of keep track, if you maybe want to go kind of address them in order.
Let's go through them in order. Provide a plan submitted by professional engineer to create and maintain new erosion controls consistent with the site's current conditions. Okay, we do not have a professional engineer's plans for new erosion controls. Submit a report prepared by a certified wetland scientist and how the wetlands should be suitably restored. I think that is what you're looking at here.
Right.
Okay. Create a schedule of future inspections to be established to ensure the site maintains compliance. That needs to be done. We can certainly work with Mr. Lucio to make sure that happens.
Mhm.
The vegetative buffer, and we did talk about how that was going to be done. I don't know that that's been put on the plans here or how that.
No, we're not at that point yet
Okay.
for that. So.
mitigation plan prior to construction. Failure to notify the wetlands officer prior to any further work on the site. So we just need to make sure there's a schedule for, when I know there's gonna be work on the site. If you're gonna do work on Monday, please let me know. I would like to come out there and just make sure I see what's happening.
Absolutely.
Failure to stabilize all earth surfaces, that seems to be more or less in place. You guys took a look at that.
Mhm.
There are places we can just verify continues to be put in good shape. Particularly around the outlet there, you saw the erosion controls were not in great shape when you were out there. With work being done, I need to make sure those erosion controls obviously remain in good condition. So as work is being done, there's no further damage to the site.
Right.
Again, we have the silt sacks that are out there. I would like to see some sort of schedule for their cleaning out and maintaining them. Certified erosion control measures there. We didn't get that. An accurate survey of the foundation for 2 Sharon Drive. We haven't gotten that. The wetlands reflagged. I guess we did see that when we were out there. The emergency erosion control plan prepared by the commission's engineer and paid for by the applicant. We haven't gotten paid by the applicant. The erosion control bond has not been paid. And you did consult with Casella on what should be done next. And okay, we will, I guess, give copies of all of what happens tonight to the building official so that he's on board with whatever we are now. Okay, so again, going down further here, there was a lot of siltation that was in the pathway that was coming down along the side of the road there that remains sort of heavily silted. The pipe underneath the road, last I checked, was still clogged. Okay. Stockpiles of on-site screen topsoil were not protected with silt fences. That has not been corrected to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
The big piles of dirt you have, there's supposed to be silt fences around the big piles of dirt. That has not been done.
Yes.
Okay, swales at various locations, flared, okay, okay,
That's all
pipes
part,
are-
that's all part of the road work that's gonna happen
okay.
supposedly next month, depending on where we are from
The
there.
site-wide erosion control fence is inconsistent with the improved drawings. We need to make sure that your drawings show the silt fences in the locations that they're actually been placed. Again, we need to make sure that your sediment bags remain refreshed after heavy rainstorms. The retention basin needs to be completed for the plant at some point. Okay, you have a plan for taking care of the sedimentation. Okay, complete construction of the detention basin, and that you've indicated you're not intending to do that until your construction's complete. Remove accumulated sediment from behind the hay bales. So again, on the road now, you've got sediment behind the hay bales and other locations where you have hay bales, where there's sediment that's piled up behind those hay bales, that needs to be cleaned out.
Done.
I will go out and take a look.
Yeah.
I haven't been out there recently.
We haven't had any more since I put up the hay bales coming down the dirt road. That
Okay,
stopped
but again,
everything. And
behind those hay bales, there's now a large amount of dirt behind
you know,
those hay bales.
there's not any longer.
I will go out and take a look at that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Repair and replace all hay bales that need to be repaired and replaced. I will go out and take a look to make sure that's still the case. Remove pipes from hay bale check dams, and that seems to have been carried out. Okay, he does seem to have established vegetation. And okay, the sediment bags we talked about. And again, just looking through those drainage pipes to make sure the drainage pipes are clear, right?
Oh,
Again,
well-
last I knew that the drainage pipes were still clogged.
That's one of the things we'll do because we're gonna cut them out per the instructions of your engineer. We're
But
gonna,
also under if on Sharon Drive goes up and you have one pipe that basically goes essentially underneath the road you constructed to go out to Sharon.
yes,
That pipe, last I checked, was clogged. So you need to make sure, since that pipe was not It's not underneath the road. That's not gonna be cut out and replaced. You need to make sure that pipe continues to be clear so that the water can flow underneath your road and essentially go from top to bottom of your site,
That's fine.
okay? Then again, he does seem to have now consulted with Rich Snarsky regarding the restoration plan. So up to you and what you want to do with your restoration plans. Again, you're sort of seeing it for the first time tonight. It had not been submitted to me before this meeting. So, you know, again, this is all relatively new information here for both me and the commission. And that's pretty much where we are. Again, we still have not received either the payment for our engineer's work or the bonding to the site. So keep that in mind.
Payment for what? I'm sorry.
Okay. Per the original, for the original permitted activities, if our engineer was reviewing your work, you would be responsible for those costs. And
Understood. I got you now.
that is not paid through today's meeting. It was work reviewed by Kawara,
Right.
Michael Kawara, and the bill for that has not yet been paid.
Okay.
Okay,
Well, as I said, we're planning on starting that work the beginning of the month. Everything is nice and dry and we'll get him out there. We'll pay the bill in advance.
okay.
But right now, the main concern was the sediment.
Okay.
And that's been taken care of for the most part.
Well, I will await further review from the commission, since this is a commission application.
Well, I'll start with that. I think steps have been made just by, Eric, you're going over your list. Obviously, some items have been addressed and maybe we need kind of an updated list. Even if you just do it yourself so that you know where you are when you're visiting the site.
Sure.
And then we can evaluate that. I'm tempted to say go ahead with removing the material in the wetland if he's got a plan that you like.
I haven't seen it.
I know.
Well, this is it. This is all I got from Mr. Smarsky. That's it. That's just the bid, the quote that I have.
Okay,
It's all handwork.
but again, this is new information. No one has seen this until
Nobody's seen it.
now. And again, that I'm gonna need a copy of as well.
Yeah, I can email you this.
Okay,
Is that a quote or is that a plan?
Just a quote.
well, I'll let you
It's a quote
review it
to remove.
I think it's pretty simple, just sort of on there with
Yeah,
shovels and
from 4 to 6.
remove it down to the existing grade and hopefully.
From 4 to 6 inches within that area marked off by
So
Snarsky, and that I would have him come back and review it.
Yeah, I mean, getting Rich on site to confirm that what he's asking be done is gonna be important here. Because again, Rich is, you can see on the plan, Rich is not an engineer, he's not a surveyor. He
Right.
just sort of marked an area and said, here. So making sure that Rich is out there to verify that what he wanted done gets done is gonna be important.
Right.
Because I don't have the sense that I'm able to sort of evaluate Rich's proposal sufficiently.
maybe, Rich can just get out there and put some flags as to where.
What's already flagged?
I would,
Wetlands are flagged, but I'm talking about the area that has to be restored so that the guys that are doing the work know where to,
Marked where he wants the material.
Well, he's got flags hanging within that boundary area. That's how this guy was able to go out there and measure off.
Okay.
Where-
Again, I haven't been out there recently. Let me go back out there and confirm that what Rich has flagged is what needs to be removed.
Yeah, so maybe in the next, week or so.
If he's planning to start working Monday, I want to get out there
Well,
tomorrow. But yeah, I will get out there very soon to make sure.
I wouldn't rush you to do it. It's when you can get to it, because
Okay.
we didn't have it in time to review or anything, but I'm eager to get the wetland restored, and if we have a plan that looks reasonable and Snarsky is willing to come out and say it's been done, it's that dry time to do it.
Yeah, again, the only reason I would want to do it sooner than later is obviously it's really dry right now.
Right.
So now would be a great time to get out there before September hits and we start getting more frequent rains. So I will try and get out there.
But then that gives you an opportunity to kind of go over the the
list.
more
here.
extensive list, reduce it down to just the things that he needs to do.
Yes,
So that it's clear both to, you know,
Mr. Nocito,
and
commissions,
us.
I want everyone on the same page with what's been done, where we're going on this, and again, how long we think it's gonna take.
We are making little, I won't say baby steps, but we're making steps in the right direction, slowly but
I'd like
surely.
to start this and have, as we're working, get Snarsky out there to verify
Okay,
versus waiting for him to come out. And
no,
it's already flagged, so I don't know what else.
again, Mr. Nocito, what I would like to do, and again, I will make sure I'm out there the next day or two, is confirm that what the work that Rich wants done has been sufficiently flagged or noticed so that the workers understand what it is they need to do. I don't need Rich to go back out there and do that. If I go out and I confirm that it is marked sufficiently, then I will let you know. You can start right away. Okay?
Okay.
I intend to get out there this week, so that if you want to start next week, we can make that happen. Okay?
The other thing too, on lot 2, where you have the cease and desist,
Mhm.
right now, the forms of, I'd like to rip all those forms out
Okay.
and then get the surveyor out there.
Okay.
So if I can do that,
If you want to rip the forms out, now, I mean,
because they're worthless now, they've been buried in water for
Okay.
2 months, 3
Why don't
months.
you rip the forms out and get the surveyor out there and we'll proceed with that, okay?
Okay.
Probably like to have Rich come out, like after he maybe actually been working at it on this.
Yeah, that's what I said, versus trying to get him out there now again, or.
Right. But I think rather than have him look when you think you're all done, it'd be probably.
Yeah, no,
more productive.
during the course of the excavation.
Okay.
It's 20 days of digging stuff.
Right, yeah, I didn't want to wait till the end and then.
Yeah, exactly.
Say what I was looking for. Do we have to make a motion to say that you can go ahead of this, or is this just?
Yeah, I think that would be appropriate to allow him to proceed with this.
The only thing I'd like to add is if Signarski approves it and says that he's met the obligation, can you lift the cease and desist on that house site?
The house site is a different issue. On that one, we need the surveyor.
Yeah, we're gonna rip the forms out, then we'll get the surveyor in there.
But then you can lift that cease and desist.
First
Let me see what I get.
Okay.
Yes, if he has met all the requirements in the cease and desist order, I will lift the cease and desist order to allow him to proceed.
I just think if you can get a foundation in there and get it backfilled.
Yeah.
That's also gonna.
When we were out there, I noticed the silt fences were almost topping.
They're new though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been replaced.
Have they, since we were out there
Yeah.
just
I will
recently?
go back out and again, before I lift the cease and desist, I am gonna make absolutely sure I am comfortable with where we are on that site. Okay, I don't intend to lift the cease and desist order prematurely. I want to make sure that it is only lifted once we're all ready to do so. So,
I didn't want to do anything there without asking
no, I understand.
about that first.
Let's see what we get over the next 3 weeks, because he has 20 days worth of work on the other piece of it, and he has to rip the forms out and get a surveyor out there. When I have better materials, I will certainly pass along my level of knowledge to the commission and my readiness to lift the order, okay?
I'll make a motion to approve starting this work with the condition that Rich comes out after a week, just to make sure that
We're in the right
you're doing
location.
the right
Yeah,
thing.
I'd like that too.
And then keep Eric updated as far as your progress goes, and make sure that he approves where the limits of
Yes,
where this is happening.
correct.
Second.
All those in-
Can we have discussion?
Sure.
I just like, ask you to amend it to include the removal of the foundation forms.
Okay.
On the house site.
I think Eric can just give that.
Okay.
And,
But that's fine.
just, that it's a limited work area as noted on the map for the wetlands remediation only.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed?
If you could email me this,
I'll email you this and
I will add this to the record
Yep,
tonight.
that's fine.
And I think
It's
we're
late
good.
your map.
I'm gonna email it to
Yeah,
you.
okay.
Yeah, it's a little big.
It's digital.
Yes,
I will
all right, thank you.
make sure we get a digital copy.
I'll start.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
This is basically the proposed revised wetlands application. We have incorporated Mr. O'Reilly's comments. I do have a few things that I just want to discuss on here before we make any motions on it. I don't have quite enough for everybody, so if you guys can.
You have an extra one? I'm gonna compare it to what I.
Sorry.
I can share with John. if he has one.
Okay. Maybe they just used mine, it looks like.
We pretty much just use yours. I guess the two things I would like to sort of discuss with the commission about this are, I'm not sure having the fees all the way at the end is the way to go. I'd like to see that either on the very first page or the second page, just so that people know about the dollars up front, not at the end of the application. The second piece is, per Mr. O'Reilly's request, we've added the $75 per visit for inspections. I'm not sure I feel comfortable with that on some of the residential ones, like 22 Sunset. I've been out there, I think, about 4 or 5 times. I'm not sure I want to charge them quite that much for it. Again, it was just going there for 2 minutes to say, are the silt fences in place or in place? You may want to do this for commercial applications, or you may want to do it if more than a certain number of site visits are required.
I don't want to deter people from asking for help.
It's counter incentivizes people to.
Yeah, so
I saw the fee to be applied only when you've done more than the routine number of visits.
okay, well then,
So who's the authority? I mean, you could probably put the verbiage in better than anybody
Yeah.
here
Okay.
because you do
I
it.
mean, if you do 3 or 4 routine visits to a site, those are covered by the fee.
Okay.
In my humble opinion.
I mean, if
It's
you,
when we're going out repeatedly to sites that you have the ability.
let me try and amend that piece of it to
Yes.
address those concerns. If you want to approve it with that caveat, and again, if you want to move the fee schedule somewhere earlier on the application.
Well, I see the application as an application. And then the fee gets handed out, you can hand it out first to them when you give them.
Well, honestly,
the
I would just
application form.
staple the fee to the damn front of the application.
Yeah.
Okay, because I want to have them see the fees before they see anything else about the application. Okay, so,
Yeah, I'm fine with putting it on the front page. And I mean, as far as the other, it says additional permit inspection compliance fees can be required. We can change can to may. And then in my mind, that's
okay,
already taken care of.
good enough.
I don't think we need to get too far into the weeds.
The only other big change was that for retroactive permits, the fee would triple instead of double. That was the other largest change through the application.
Retro, huh?
Well, when someone does the work before
It's a penalty.
they have a permit, it's a minimal penalty, but their fees aren't very big.
Okay.
And
The only other thing that I didn't look, I made some changes to get some additional information, getting the wetland boundary, handing out the DEP questionnaire. They were highlighted, I think. And then I did suggest some changes to the fees. Where the hell did it that? Those were highlighted, so.
the highlighted ones were all things that he wanted changed. Again, I just wanted to get commentary out there regarding the ones I particularly wanted to have the commission weigh in.
These highlighted ones, the ones I suggested, bumping them up. The only other thing in the application form where we talk about vernal pools, I tell them where the definition in our regulations for vernal pools is. So they know what a vernal pool is and.
For residential permits, how often do you visit a site more than 3 times, you think? Like what percentage of applications?
I'd say it's about 50-50.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like the one that you had up at the north end of Rogers Lake where they were putting in the large wall there and then sort of backfilling and putting a house in. I'm not sure if you remember going to that site visit there. I've been to that site now probably about 4 times because it took them a while to do that. I mean, the site is not even finished. I'm gonna have to go back out there 2 or 3 more times. And again, I tried to get out to the one on town woods, because I know that they're right along the stream there, so I probably visited that 3 or 4 times already, and obviously they're back with a revised application, so I'm gonna go back out there.
Is that their request, or is that you kind of going in to do a periodic check?
It's not at their request. Most of these are just me verifying, like, again, 22 Sunset.
Yeah.
We're up against a stream. I just go out, I look at the silt fence, if it's okay.
Just a more sensitive area.
Yeah, in places where I'm more worried about it
Yeah, I got
having
you.
issues, I just go out and take a look and make sure we're okay. So again, Fallon, I had her diary every 30 days or so for me to go back out, take a look, see we're okay. It took 2-3 minutes, got out of my car, so fence looks okay. I took a picture, the file has the picture in it, just so we can verify I was out there on the day I was out there. Not a big deal. But again, if there are situations, like for instance, 308-1, where I am going out on a more frequent basis to make sure things are okay, I can see why we would want to impose fees for doing that. So.
Yeah, maybe if you can even just say if additional visits are due to compliance issues. If it's just regular inspections, I don't think it makes a lot of sense, but if it's continued compliance issues, then it would probably make sense to.
You want to use the word enforcement issues with that?
Probably. I hesitate tying any types of fees to routine inspections or follow-ups or anything, because then it becomes subjective as far as when it crosses some inflection point. So,
And I do respect the fact that we want me going out
Yeah.
and looking. I don't want people to say, no, don't come out. I don't want to pay you.
right.
Okay. And again, if it's 2-3 minutes, I'm not sure $75 really was worth covering.
And the way to deal with it, I thought, and that's why I increased some of the fees for the more difficult things, like a house. Obviously gonna go out, especially if it's much more complicated. Things can go wrong, they don't put up the erosion controls, so you have more inspections, and I would collect it in the fee up front.
Or just
So,
get rid of the additional. And just get rid of it just to avoid.
yeah, but have it so
People
that
get
on
mad, yeah.
compliance,
Could do compliance or
serious
enforcement
compliance.
if
In
it's
the
a-
last 7 months, we've only had to reach out to one contractor to fix the silt fence and the multiple site visits that he goes on a week. So there's not really a lot of infractions going on. They're just,
Yeah, I say for the purpose of simplicity.
Just
Cut that.
get rid of it, probably. Otherwise, you just create unnecessary arguments.
Up to you guys how you want to proceed. But again, I just wanted to sort of put it out there that if it is for enforcement purposes, I can see why we want to collect a fee for doing that. But I don't know that for routine
Maybe put that
applications,
word in then for enforcement inspections.
for enforcement inspections, maybe. Yes. Okay, does that make it easier for you guys to
Sure.
accept it? Okay.
Yep.
And you guys have the power to set your own fees and applications. I don't know if you want to make a motion just to incorporate this into your new
When
application.
did we last change fees, or have we ever changed them?
You haven't
Now,
changed them
we're doing it now.
recently.
In 20 years, we've never.
I don't know, Mike, you read all the things for the last 20 years.
I have the note, I have something to do with that too. It's in my notes. I've forgotten, I'm too old.
Yeah, I mean, I'll make a motion to accept the fee schedule as presented, and amend the, additional permanent inspection compliance fees may be required for enforcement purposes.
Second. All's in favor?
Aye.
Reading and approval of minutes.
Yeah, I see it as a separate page where it goes, if it's at the beginning or the end, I don't care.
I didn't get that second page. I didn't know there were fees, so staple it right on the front.
Yeah.
Everybody get a chance to look at the July 22nd regular meeting minutes?
I did.
Anybody have any changes or concerns? Anybody want to make a motion to approve the minutes? Anybody?
Minutes.
All right. All those in favor?
I
I'm gonna abstain.
And the August 5th special meeting site walk. Anybody have any concerns?
No.
All right. The motion,
move.
Second.
all those in favor?
I,
And I
I'm gonna
abstain from
abstain.
that one as well.
And anybody else have any Anything? All right, make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Anybody going to the sewer, info?
No.
Going back to work.
I'm not sure Jill has reached out to you or Rachel regarding interviews for the replacement. No, okay.